Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss 11th physics lesson number 7 thermal properties of matter numericals part 1. If you are watching my video for first time, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Let us start with the first question. A glass flask has a volume of 1 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter cube. It is filled with liquid at 30 degrees Celsius. If the temperature of the system is raised to 100 degrees Celsius, how much of the liquid will overflow? This is the question. So, a glass flask it has a volume of 1 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter cube. And it is filled with the liquid at 30 degrees Celsius. If the temperature of liquid is 30 degrees Celsius, the glass flask volume will also be 30 degrees Celsius. Now, if the temperature of the system is raised to 100 degrees Celsius, if we will increase the temperature of the system, that is glass flask containing water, we know that volume of the liquid will increase as well as volume of flask will also increases. Okay. If the volume of liquid increased is above the volume of the glass flask, then the liquid will overflows. Okay, how much liquid is overflowing, that we want to find out. So let us start with the solution. First we will write what is given. Volume of the flask is given, let it be V1. V1 is equal to 1 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter cube. T1 is 30 degrees Celsius and T2, that is temperature of the system, is 100 degrees Celsius when it is increased. We want to find out now volume coefficient, that is coefficient of volume expansion of glass is given, let it be gamma 1, 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 per degree Celsius. And gamma 2 is given, that is 75 into 10 raised to minus 5. Okay. To find, we want to find out volume of liquid that overflows. We want to find volume of liquid that overflows. Okay, we know that the formula for volume expansion, coefficient of volume expansion is gamma is equal to V2 minus V1 upon V1 into T2 minus T1. Okay, from this we can find out the increase in volume, that is V2 minus V1 is equal to gamma in V1 into T2 minus T1. Okay. First, we will find out the increase in volume of glass. Increase in volume of glass. That is V2 minus V1 is equal to gamma 1 will come because we are finding out increase in volume of glass. So coefficient of volume expansion of glass is gamma 1 V1 into T2 minus T1. That is equal to gamma 1 is 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 into V1 is 1 into 10 raised to minus 4 into T2 minus T1, that is 100 minus 30, that is equal to 70. So we got V2 minus V1 is equal to 1.2 into 70 is 84. Okay, into 10 raised to minus 4 and minus 5 is 10 raised to minus 9 meter cube. This is the increase in volume of glass. Now we will find out increase in volume of liquid. Okay, liquid V2 minus V1 is equal to gamma 2 will come, gamma 2 V1 into T2 minus T1. Gamma 2 is 75 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 1 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 70. That is, we got V2 minus V1 is equal to 75 into 70. That is 5,250 into 10 raised to minus 4 minus 5 is minus 9 meter cube. That is, increase in volume of liquid is greater than increase in volume of glass. So it will overflow. Now we want to find out volume of a liquid which overflows. Volume of liquid which overflows. To find out the volume of liquid which overflows, we have to take the difference in the increase in volume of liquid and glass. That is 5,250 minus 84 into 10 raised to minus 9. 10 raised to minus 9 is common in both. On subtracting this, we will get 5,166 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter cube. This is the volume of liquid which overflows. I hope you all understood the solution. Let us solve the next question. Which will require more energy? Heating a 2 kilogram block of lead by 30 Kelvin or heating a 4 kilogram block of copper by 5 Kelvin. Specific heat of lead is given 128 joule per Kelvin per kilogram, and specific heat of copper is 387 joule per kilogram Kelvin. Okay, so first we will write what is given. Mass of lead block is given, ml is equal to 2 kilogram, and mass of copper is given, Cu is 0.4 kilogram. Copper mass is 4 kilogram, and temperature is given. Difference delta T of lead is 30 Kelvin, and copper is 5 Kelvin. Okay. Now, specific heat of lead is 128, and specific heat of copper is 387 joule per kilogram Kelvin. Okay. Now, we know that to find out the amount of energy, the formula used is heat energy absorbed or released is Q is equal to ms delta T, where S is the specific heat. Okay, which one will absorb more heat, that will have more energy. So to find which substance require more heat energy, which substance require more heat energy. Okay, we know that the formula for heat is Q is equal to ms delta T. Okay, for lead, Q is equal to mass of lead is 2 into specific heat of lead is 128 into delta T, that is 30. 2 into 30 is 60. 60 into 128 is 7,608 joule. Okay, and for copper, Q is equal to mass of copper is 4 into specific heat is 387 into temperature is 5. 5 4s are 20. 20 into 387 is 7,740 joules. Okay, so this is of copper and this is lead. So heat energy absorbed by copper is greater than lead. Okay, therefore copper will require more energy. Okay, I hope you all understood the solution. Let us solve the next question. Specific latent heat of vaporization of water is given 2.26 into 10 raised to 6. That is, latent heat of vaporization of water is 2.26 into 10 raised to 6 joule per kilogram. Calculate the energy needed to change 5 gram of water into steam at 100 degrees Celsius. Mass is given 5 gram. Here it is latent heat is given in SI system. So mass we have to convert into kilogram. That is 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 kilogram. Okay. Here we want to find out the energy needed to change 5 kilogram of water into steam. We know that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. So at 100 degrees Celsius, water will get converted to steam. Steam temperature is also 100 degrees Celsius. Here, there is no change in temperature. Only the phase will change. That is liquid to vapor. The constant temperature at which the liquid is converted to vapor is called latent heat of vaporization. There is no change in the temperature. Okay, so here we have to use the formula Q is equal to ml. So now temperature change. So to calculate the energy needed to change water into steam, we have to use the formula Q is equal to ml into latent heat of vaporization. That is Q is equal to M is 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 into latent heat is 2.26 into 10 raised to 6. Okay. 5 into 2.26 is equal to, and into 10 raised to 6 and 10 raised to 3. 10 raised to 6 minus 3 is 3. In 1000 will come. Okay. That means 2260 into 5. 2260 into 5 is 11,300 joules. Okay. Or we can write this as Q is equal to 1.13 into 10 raised to 4 joules. This is the energy needed to change 5 gram of water into steam at 100 degrees Celsius. Let us solve the next question. A metal sphere cools at a rate of 0.05 per degrees Celsius per second when its temperature is 70 degrees Celsius, and at the rate of 0.025 degrees Celsius per second when its temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. Determine the temperature of the surroundings and also find rate of cooling when the temperature of metal sphere is 40 degrees Celsius. Here, this sum is based on Newton's law of cooling. You know that rate of cooling is proportional to the temperature difference. So first we will write metal sphere cools at the rate of cooling is given. Okay. At 70 degrees Celsius. So let the temperature be 70 degrees Celsius, that is T1. So first we will write the given T1 is equal to 70 degrees Celsius. Okay. Rate of cooling at 70 degrees Celsius is given d T upon, or you can use d theta by dt also. Okay. At T1 is equal to 0.05 degrees Celsius per second. Okay. Now T2 is given. T2 is 50 degrees Celsius. Rate of cooling is dT by small t, okay, is equal to 0.025 degrees Celsius per second. We want to find out the rate of cooling at 40 degrees Celsius. T3 is given 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. We want to find dT by dt at 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. And we want to find out the surrounding temperature. Let the surrounding temperature be T0. This also we want to find. Okay. We know that the formula for rate of cooling is dt upon small t. This we can use a d theta by dt also. Okay. Is proportional to the difference in temperature, that is T minus T0. Okay, to remove the proportionality, we have to multiply by a constant, that is C into T minus T0. Okay, where C is a constant. Solution. dt by d small t, okay, is equal to C into T1 minus T0. Okay, let it be equation number 1. And dt by dt, that is temperature at T2, is C into T2 minus T0. This is equation number 2. Okay. Now, on dividing equation number 1 by 2, on dividing, we will get dt at temperature T1 divided by dt by d2 at temperature T2. We know these values, that is 0.05 upon dt2 is 0.025 is equal to C into T1 is T1 minus T0. T1 is 70 degrees Celsius, that is 70 minus T0 upon C into T2 is 50 degrees Celsius. 50 minus T0. C will get a cancel. Okay. On cross multiplying, we will get that is equal to 2 into 50 minus this we can cancel with a 2. Okay, this is 2 will come on cancelling, and then cross multiplying 2 into 50 minus T0 is equal to 70 minus T0. On opening the bracket, 100 minus 2 T0 is equal to 70 minus T0. That is, and taking T0 to the other side, T0 to one side, we will get T0 is equal to 70 minus 50. 70 minus 50 is, sorry, on opening the bracket, we will get 100 minus 2 T0 is equal to 70 minus T0. Okay. Or 70 we are taking to the left side. 100 minus 70 is equal to 30. So we will get T0 is equal to 30 degrees Celsius. T0 we got. Okay. T0 is the surrounding temperature. Now, substituting the value of T0 in equation number 1, we will get 0.05 is equal to C into 70 minus 30. That is equal to 70 minus 30 is 40. Okay. We got that is equal to 0.05 is equal to 40. Therefore, C is equal to 0.05 divided by 40. 0.05 divided by 40 is 0.00125 per second. Okay. Now we have to find out rate of cooling when the temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. We know that for temperature T3 is equal to 40 degrees Celsius. dt upon d small t, okay, temperature T3 is C into T3 minus T0. That is equal to 0.00125 into T3 is 40. 40 minus 30 is 10. So we got 0.0125 degrees Celsius per second. So this is the value of rate of cooling at 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. And surrounding temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. I hope you all understood the solution. Let us solve the next question. Next question. The volume of a gas varies linearly with absolute temperature. If its pressure is held constant, pressure constant, temperature varies linearly with the volume. So this is the graph. Temperature varies linearly with the volume. Question is, suppose the gas does not liquefy even at very low temperature. What temperature the volume of the gas will be ideally equal to 0. Okay, so if we will extend this graph, it is coming 0 at this temperature. The temperature here is minus 273.15. So at the temperature of minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, the volume of gas will be ideally 0. Will be ideally 0. I hope you all understood this question. Let us solve the next one. In olden days, while laying the rail for train, a small gap is used to be left between the rail sections to allow for thermal expansion. Suppose the rails are laid at room temperature 27 degrees Celsius. If the maximum temperature in the region is 45 degrees Celsius, each length of rail is 10 meters. What should be the gap left between that? Linear coefficient of expansion is given alpha is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 per Kelvin for the material of rail section. We know that. Look at this diagram. Between two rails, a small gap is provided because when the train moves over this, due to friction, it will get heated. And as a result of that temperature, it will undergo expansion. Okay. So the gap is provided for expansion. We want to find out the length of each rail is given. Okay. The maximum temperature in the region is given 45 degrees Celsius. We have to find out what should be the gap left between the two rails. Okay. So here it is given, temperature T1 is given. Initial temperature that is 27 degrees Celsius. T2 is given 45 degrees Celsius. Initial length of the rail is given, that is L1 is 10 meters. Linear expansion coefficient alpha is given 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 per Kelvin. Okay. Suppose this is the length. Okay, this is the length. This length is L. Okay, due to expansion, due to increase in temperature, it will expand, and let the expansion be this much, that is L2. So increase in length is L2 minus L1. We want to find out L2 minus L1. We know that the formula for coefficient of linear expansion is formula for linear expansion is alpha is equal to L2 minus L1 upon L1 into T2 minus T1. Now from this we can find out L2 minus L1, that is increase in length. L2 minus L1 is equal to alpha into L1 into T2 minus T. On substituting the values, we will get the solution that is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 into L1 is 10, T2 minus T1 is 45 minus 27. Okay. That is equal to 1.2 into 10. 1.2 into 10 is 12. 12 into 45 minus 27 is 260 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. This is L2 minus L1. Or we can write L2 minus L1 is equal to 2.16 millimeter. This is the increase in length or the gap left between two rays. I hope you all understood the solution. Let us solve the next question. A blacksmith fixes iron ring on the rim of a wooden wheel of a bull locomotive. The diameter of wooden rim and the iron ring are 1.5 meter and 1.47 meter respectively at room temperature of 27 degrees. To what temperature the iron ring should be heated so that it can fit the rim of a wheel? So this is a wheel. Okay, a blacksmith want to fit this iron ring on the wheel. If we want to fix it properly, the diameter of this iron ring should also be the same as that of wheel. Then it will fix properly. Okay. At room temperature 27 degrees Celsius, the diameter of wooden rim and iron ring are given 1.5 meter and 1.47. That means iron ring diameter is less than wooden ring. So we have to increase the diameter of iron ring to 1.5. Then it will fit properly. Okay. So for that, first we will write what is given. Diameter of wooden ring is given, that is 1.5 meter, and diameter of iron ring is 1.47 meter. Okay. Now temperature is given T1, that is 27 degrees Celsius. Linear coefficient of expansion is given 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 Kelvin. Okay, we want to find out T2. To find T2. Okay, now to fit in the wooden ring, we have to increase the diameter. Okay, alpha is given. Alpha, we know alpha is equal to L2 minus L1 upon L1 into T2 minus T1. Here, length of the wooden rim, length will be equal to circumference. We know the formula for circumference is 2 pi r, or that is equal to pi d. Okay, pi d. Length will be equal to pi d. So instead of this L2, we can write pi dw minus pi di upon pi di into T2 minus T1. T2 minus T1. So pi is common here. We can take pi common from the numerator, that is pi into dw minus di upon pi di into T2 minus T1. Pi will get a cancel. So we will get dw minus di upon di into T2 minus T1. So the solution is alpha is equal to, okay, on cross multiplying, we will get alpha into di into T2 minus T1 is equal to d of W minus di. Or we can find out T2 from this given equation as T2 is equal to dW minus di upon di alpha plus T1. On cross multiplying, we will get, I'll show that alpha into di into T2 minus T1 is equal to diameter of wooden wheel minus diameter of iron wheel. Okay, we want to find out T2. So T2 minus T1 is equal to diameter of wooden ring minus iron. Okay, upon di into alpha. T2 minus T1 this is. Okay, we want to find out T2. So take T1 to the other side, we will get diameter of wooden ring minus diameter of iron by di into alpha minus T1 will become plus T. Like this we got this formula. Okay, on substituting the values we will get 1.5 minus 1.47 upon 1.47 into diameter of wooden ring into alpha. Alpha is 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 plus T1. T1 is 27. Okay. On solving this, we will get 1700.7 plus 27. That is equal to 1727.7 degrees Celsius. This is the, by heating at this temperature, the iron ring will get fitted to the rim of the wheel. Okay, I hope you all understood this solution. If you like the video, please do comment, like, share, and subscribe my channel, and also share with your friends and classmates.